If you're applying for project management jobs and not getting offers, the problem may not be your experience. It may be how you're communicating that experience. I've interviewed project managers, worked with hiring managers, and coached professionals looking to advance their careers. And one thing I've noticed is that many candidates answer interview questions by listing responsibilities instead of telling stories. The candidates who get hired aren't always the most experienced. They're often the ones whose stories are memorable. Today, I'm going to explain why storytelling is one of the most powerful skills you can develop for project management interviews. Think about it this way. Imagine I ask two candidates the same question. Tell me about your stakeholder management experience. The first candidate says, I managed stakeholders, conducted meetings, provided status updates, and escalated issues when necessary. That's technically correct, but it's also forgettable. Now imagine a second candidate says, I inherited a project that was 6 weeks behind schedule. 3 executives were frustrated, and nobody agreed on priorities. My first step was creating a stakeholder engagement plan and holding alignment meetings with each leader. Within a month, we had executive agreement on priorities and the project was back on track. Which candidate do you think the interviewer is going to remember? It's going to be the second one. Because stories create context, they help interviewers visualize you solving real problems. One of the biggest mistakes project managers make is confusing responsibilities with accomplishments. Many candidates say things like, I managed risks, I managed budgets, I managed vendors, I facilitated meetings, but every project manager does those things. Interviewers aren't trying to determine whether you've attended meetings. They're trying to determine whether you can solve problems. Can you influence stakeholders? Can you recover a troubled project? Can you make difficult decisions under pressure? Stories answer those questions. Responsibilities tell people what your job was. Stories demonstrate how well you performed it. The easiest storytelling framework for interviews is the STAR method. It stands for situation, task, action, result. Let's look at a simple example. Situation. A software implementation project was falling behind schedule because multiple teams had conflicting priorities. Task. As the project manager, I needed to get alignment and recover the timeline. Action. I facilitated workshops with stakeholders, identified dependencies, created and revised the roadmap, and established weekly executive reviews. The result? The project recovered 4 weeks ahead of schedule delay and launched successfully. Notice something important. Most candidates spend too much time describing the problem. The real value is the action and results sections. That's where interviewers learn how you think. That's where leadership shows up. That's where decision making becomes visible. When you're preparing for interviews, build a library of 5 to 10 stories from your career. Some examples can be a project recovery story, a stakeholder conflict story, a vendor management story, a scope creep story, a leadership story. Those same stories can be adapted to answer dozens of interview questions. Here's what many candidates miss. Most interviewers already assume you understand project management fundamentals. They're not looking for a textbook definition of risk management. They're looking for evidence. Evidence that you can lead people. Evidence that you can navigate uncertainty. Evidence that you can communicate effectively with executives and stakeholders. Stories provide that evidence better than any certification, acronym, or project management buzzword. If you're preparing for a project management interview, don't just review concepts, review your stories. Because interviewers won't remember every project you've managed, but they'll remember a compelling story about how you recovered a failing project, resolved a major stakeholder conflict, or delivered results under pressure. The ability to tell those stories clearly and confidently can be the difference between getting an interview and getting an offer. If you're looking to advance your project management career, subscribe to this channel for more practical advice on interviews, leadership, agile, and project delivery. And in the comments, please let me know what's the most powerful project story from your career.